Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I thought I'd take a few moments out to create a process to help those of you who are struggling with self-love. The fact is that how we love ourselves absolutely sets the template for how everybody else is towards us as well. And the sad truth is that despite the best of intentions, I'm sure most of the time, that if our parents haven't taught us how to love ourselves when we were kids, then we're probably not going to know how to love ourselves when we're adults either. And this is when we start attracting to us behavior and relationships and situations that are really, really quite toxic, in some cases abusive. So once we start to learn it, to love ourselves and bring ourselves back into wholeness, everything else in our world starts to fall into place as well. So if this calls to you, if this speaks to you at all, and you feel like diving into a wee bit of a process, come and join me on IGTV and I'll take you through one now. Right, so what we're going to be doing is we are going to be going into your subconscious mind, and we're going to be connecting with the parts of you, or at least one part of you, that feels unloved or separate from love. So they might feel unworthy or undeserving of love or unlovable, but some way they are feeling separate from love in some way or another. So what I need you to do is I want you to take a moment to reflect back. Now, this could be quite recent, like yesterday or in the last couple of years. It definitely does not need to be when you're a child. But I want you to think back to a particular time or a situation or an event where you have felt really, really unlovable or unloved or separate from love. I'm going to give you a moment to do that now. Cool. So once you've got an example of a time where you felt unloved, I want you to take a moment now to really connect in with that particular situation or what actually happened. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to create a wee bit of a trigger or an emotional charge in your body. And once you have that emotional charge, I want you to notice where it's sitting in your body. You may need to put yourself back there, remember who was with you, what they said, what you said, how it made you feel, and that will actually help trigger that wound that we're going to work on. Good. So once you've got that wound or that trigger that we're going to work on, I want you to notice what part of your body is it sitting in. And it might be sitting in more than one place. It's usually in the chakras, but not always. And I want you to choose the area where it's most intense, probably where you felt it first and where it's most intense. Good. Okay, so now we've got the location. This is actually where the trauma is trapped in your body. And there will actually, believe it or not, there'll be another sort of part of yourself sitting inside of there that feels separate from love, or they feel unloved. And that's the part we're going to be working with in a moment. But first, we're going to look at what are the physical sensations in that part of your body? Like, does it feel tight, or does it feel like it's really just withdrawing or blocking, or it might feel really heavy? Just notice what are the physical sensations in that part of your body. Good, great. So now you've got your physical sensations. I want you to dive in a little bit more And I want you to notice what emotions or feelings are sitting in that part of your body. There might be things like feeling alone or abandoned or rejection. There might be thoughts like I'm not good enough. So just dive on in there and just sort of see what's sitting there. What feelings and thoughts and emotions come to you? Good. And I just want you to check underneath those. Are there any more? Is there any sadness or grief or loss? Good. You're doing really well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I want you to dive in there even more deeply now, and I want you to dive right on in there, just noticing all of those feelings and emotions that are sitting in there and those thoughts that you have about yourself. And I want you to notice, is there another version of yourself sitting in that part of your body? So it might be an adult version, it might be, they might look like you when you were a kid. I want you just to connect in with the other version of yourself that's sitting in that part of your body. And I just want you to notice, how old are they? And if you're struggling with connecting with them, what I quite often do is I will imagine, like, if I could connect with a part of myself sitting in that part of my body, how old would they be? And that will help you bridge it. Good, well done. Okay, and I want you to notice, what's the scene? Like, is this part of you? Now, in most cases, they're going to be a child, so I'm just going to refer to them as a child, but if they're an adult or a teenager, that's totally fine. But I want you to notice, what is the scene? Like, is this little one, are they at home or are they at school or are they at a friend's house? Whereabouts are they in the scene? Cool. Okay. We're going to go to them in a moment, but before we do that, I want you to connect in with this part of you and I want you to tune in and see, how are they feeling right now? Like, they might be feeling sad and lonely, maybe abandoned or rejected. But just check in. How are they feeling right now? Good. Is there anything else that you can pick up about them? Cool. Okay. So now we've got an idea of what's going through their mind, what they're feeling like. What is really important now with this stage is we're actually going to go in and connect directly with them. And so when we're trying to heal and dissolve energy and beliefs, like we are going to in this process, what's most important is that what we say to the child or the other part of you actually absolutely resonates. So I'm going to give you some ideas of stuff that might work well for you, but please just play around with it and just change the words to suit your individual needs. Okay, so if it doesn't feel quite right what I'm saying, just have a little bit of fiddle around with the words so that they do. So what we're going to do is, the feelings that you could pick up that this little one was feeling before, or the thoughts they have about themselves, I want you to remember what they were, and I want you to go to this other part of yourself now. Now, if this other part of yourself is really small, like if they're a kid, if it feels appropriate to you, just totally just pick them up, give them a hug, hold their hand, put their arm around you, whatever around them, sorry, and just connect with them in whatever way feels loving and nurturing. So just go to them and do that now. And when you do this, I want you to say to them something along the lines of, I see you, I'm here now, and I want you to know that I love you and I completely accept you. Good, really good. Now, just thinking back to how they were feeling a moment ago, I want you to replay this to them. So, for example, if they said they were feeling really alone, I want you to say to them something along the lines of, I know that you're feeling really, really alone, but I want you to know that I'm not going to leave you alone or abandon you ever again. Or if they were feeling really sad, you would say to them, I know that you're feeling really sad, but I want you to know that I'm here now and I'm going to do everything I can to help you feel happy again. I'll give you a moment to do that now. Good. If you need a little bit of more time, just take the time that you need and come back to us. Cool. Okay. Now I want you to connect in with them a little bit more, and I want you to say to them something along the lines of, I know that there's stuff that you want to tell me. Do you want to share that with me now? What is it that you want to say? Okay, okay. So depending what they've said to you, and sometimes they might show you images or that you might get a feeling rather than actually hearing them say something, that's totally fine. Just trust that whatever you notice is exactly right. So I want you to take a moment to say to them something along the lines of, and it depends totally what they've said, but I know that you're feeling really, and just fill in the blanks. I know that you're feeling this particular way. I want you to know that I'm here now and that I completely love and accept you. Good. So I want you to ask if there's anything else that they want you to know. And it might be stuff like they might be wondering why, mum and dad don't play with them. It must be because they don't like you. Or why are the kids at school mean to you? It must be because, that you're a bad person or something along those lines. They will have formed some beliefs or some thoughts about themselves. So just encourage them to share them with you now. Good. And if there's somebody else that's been involved, like maybe a parent has done something or a sibling or, kids at school or something like that, just let them know that what has happened to them isn't actually their fault. There's nothing that they could have done differently to have produced a different outcome. So there's nothing that they did or didn't do to cause the situation to happen. Because particularly smaller children, when the wounds are created in childhood, they nearly always blame themselves. They nearly always think that it's because of them, that they weren't good enough, or if they were different somehow, this wouldn't have happened. And most of the time, it was nothing to do with them. It was actually to do with their parents or with the other people involved. It wasn't actually about them, but they've taken it on as being about them. So just bottom line is, if there's somebody else involved, just let your little one know that what happened wasn't about them. It was not their fault. Good. And is there anything else that they want to share with you at this time? Cool. And just go through this again, just replay it back to them. And I want you to now, we're going to connect in with them a little bit further, and we're going to ask them, what beliefs have they formed about themselves because of this? Something's obviously happened. So just find out, what beliefs have they formed. They might have formed beliefs like, you know, I'm alone all the time because nobody loves me, or you know, love is for other people, but it's not for me. Or they might have been taught through their environment that my parents says that they love me, but they hurt me, so love is painful. So just find out, just ask them, what beliefs have they formed from this situation? Good. If you need more time, just take it. So what I want you to do is look at each belief. And again, I don't know exactly what your little one's going to tell you, so I'm just going to give you some examples, and I'd like you to adapt these to your situation. So if they've said something along the lines of, mum and dad don't have any time for me, and it must be because they don't love me, or I'm not lovable, then I want you to say to them something along the lines of, I know that your mum and dad don't have a lot of time for you, but I want you to know that this is not because of you. It's because they're tied up doing the things that mummies and daddies do, but it's not because of you. Or if they say something along the lines of, why does my mum and dad hate me so much? Or why does my mum or my dad hate me so much? It must be because they don't love me. One of the things I would say in response to that, but again, adapt it to what feels right to you, is I would say something along the lines of, you know what? Not all mummies and daddies know how to be really good mummies and daddies. They don't know how to give you the love that you are worthy of and that you deserve. But I am here now, and I am always, always going to love you. Good. Just check if there are any more beliefs that they have formed about themselves. One of the big things that I see a lot of is that they have to earn love, like they have to prove themselves worthy of being loved. So if that feels like a resonance for you, just let them know that I know that you believe that you have to be whatever is expected of you in order to be loved. I want you to know that you don't have to be anything or do anything other than who you actually are to be loved. You are exactly perfect, exactly the way that you are. And I completely love you, and I am so proud of you say little boy or little girl that they are. Right. Okay, so now I want you to check in and see what patterns of behavior has this little one formed around these beliefs. So we're going to treat it exactly like we did with the beliefs, but we'll find out what patterns of behavior. So there's really obvious things like people pleasing, having to fix, not allowed to say no. Um, they might have had beliefs around I'm not good enough, therefore I have to tolerate really toxic situations. There's a whole lot of patterns that can be formed around this. So what I want you to do is I want you to find out what patterns of behavior have they formed. I mean, sometimes it might be that they have to be perfect, otherwise they won't be loved. So just see what those patterns are, and I'll get you to do that now. Good. If you need more time, just pause the audio, or sorry, the video, and just take more time. Oh. So exactly like we did with the beliefs, I want you to take each of the patterns and let them know, I know that you believe that you need to, for example, people please in order to be loved. I want you to know that you don't have to do that anymore because I'm going to love you anyway. It doesn't matter what you do or don't do. I am always going to love you. Good. Just do the same for the other patterns. Great. Excellent. Again, if you need more time, just take it now. So what we're going to do now is you're going to have a little bit of choice here about how you want to play this. But what we're going to do before we bring in any healing energy, I'm going to give you an opportunity, and this is really, really important when we've carried wounds where we've felt separate from love somehow, or not good enough, or unworthy. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect in with an ascended master, or somebody, not actually so much somebody, sorry, a guide, somebody who's ascended, who is very important to you, somebody I use a lot of in my sessions, and of course it totally depends on a resonance for you, but I will often use Master Jesus, or we may use Buddha, whoever it is that you connect with. It might be Archangel Michael or Mother Mary, whoever it is that you feel that alignment and resonance with. But I want you to invite them in now. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to put your hands out like this, and I'm going to get you to invite that energy in. And I want you to imagine them right in front of you and holding your hands. And I want you to take a moment to look into their eyes. I want you to look at their face, and I want you to look into their eyes. And I want you to see the love and compassion and warmth that they feel when they look into your eyes and look at you. So I want you to actually really absorb the love that comes from this ascended master when they look at you. So I want you to see them and feel the love mirrored back to you, which was never done when you were a kid. And just notice the warmth and the love radiating from them, and just feel it as it cascades through your whole entire being. This is what it feels like to be loved. Good. You may wish to take a moment now to ask this master if there's any insights for you. Is there anything that they want you to know at this particular time? Cool. And if you want to ask more questions, just pause the audio and you can do so and join us when you're ready. Okay. Now, if you found that quite moving, most people I work with, when we do this, they'll often just burst into tears. Like, it's quite overwhelming. The love, the intensity of the love is like nothing else. So if you're getting that kind of resonance and you really like doing this, my suggestion is to do this regularly. Like, I mean, I will sometimes do this at night time. I'll just do it just for 2 or 3 minutes. And it just really invites that true oneness and that true love energy into your being. And it also, you get an opportunity to have that love they feel reflected to you, which we don't often get that in other aspects of our life. So that's why it's quite useful, especially if you've come from a place where you've felt that you're separate from love in some way. Okay, so I'll get you to take a moment to say your thank yous and your goodbyes. Cool. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back to the other version of yourself, and I want you to check and see how they're feeling right now. So I'm picking they're probably going to be feeling quite different to how they felt before. Cool. Okay. So what we're going to do now is let us bring in the healing energy for them. Let's bring in some beautiful shimmery violet light, just so them completely surrounded in that beautiful shimmery violet light. And just know that that shimmery violet light is alchemizing and transmuting any negative energy. You might even see some of the wisps of the darker, denser energies leaving their little bodies now. Good. Great. Now, I want you to draw in maybe some diamond white lights. Let's see diamond white light pouring down through the top of the crown chakra and all around their little bodies. Good. Just completely surrounded in that beautiful, divine diamond white light, cleansing, clearing, and upgrading their energy system. Good. And shall we bring in some emerald green too for healing? Let's bring in that beautiful jewel emerald green right to the top of the crown chakra, around their little body, on the head, their body, all the way down through the legs and out through their feet. Good. Good. Great. So let's bring in now a beautiful soft pink that's for unconditional love. Holds that frequency. And that beautiful soft pink, and behind it, I want you to bring in gold. So you've got the soft pink and gold mixed together. See that pouring down and just moving all around their entire body, so around their face, around their top of their shoulders, their arms, all around their chest. And just notice this beautiful soft pink and gold just completely infusing their entire being, all the way down through their body, all the way down through their legs and out through their feet. So they're completely filled up with this beautiful divine love energy. That's good. Excellent. So I want you to imagine that you have a little crystal wand in front of you, and this crystal wand has in it a colour that you're needing at this particular time. Now, you don't need to use your head. In fact, it's best if you don't use your head. And I just want you to notice, what colour is it that I need right now? And you'll find that this wand has this color in it. And I want you to take a couple of drops and just drop a couple of drops into your energy field. Just take a little couple of drops in there. And this color has exactly the right codes and symbols that you need at this particular time. Just notice that cascading through your energy field. Good. Great. And we have one more little wand that I want to use. Now, this wand has pure divinity in it, actually. Again, it's a crystal wand with golden drops in it. And I want you to place these golden drops, one inside your heart chakra. So just take a drop, put it right in the center, and I want you to notice your whole heart chakra just infusing with this beautiful, powerful gold. And I want you to put another drop wherever you felt that, wherever you felt that trauma or trigger when we first started the process. Just put a drop in there. That's great. Good. Great. Now noticing your little one, and she or he is completely wrapped up in that beautiful soft pink and gold. I want you to shrink them down so that they can actually fit inside your palm. And I want you to pop them inside your heart, and just notice how they're feeling now. It's most likely they're asleep or very, very sleepy, which is perfect. So just pop them inside your heart, and I want you to say to them when you're putting them in something along the lines of that you're never ever going to abandon or reject them, and that you are always, always going to be there for them, and you are always, always going to love them so much, and that you are so proud of them. And just let them know that it is time for them to rest. Good. And they're still all wrapped up in that beautiful soft pink and gold. And for the next few days, just check in on them and just make sure they're still wrapped up in that pink and gold. Good. Excellent. Great. Okay. So just coming back to this time and place now, I want you to just notice the room that you're in and the position that your body's in. And just wriggle your fingers and your toes, just making sure your energy is all back inside your body, all the way down to your feet. Good. That's great. Excellent. So on the count of 3, I want you to open your eyes, feeling refreshed, energized, and awake. That's 1, feeling refreshed, 2, feeling energized, and 3, feeling awake. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's a fairly high-level process. Obviously, in private sessions, we can go much deeper and tailor the process specifically for you and your needs at that time, which is very, very powerful. But you will find that you will absolutely get some relief. And this is a way in which we can actually start loving all the pieces of ourselves that feel separate from love. We can bring those pieces back in and love them. To me, this is what true self-love is actually about, finding those pieces of ourselves that feel unloved and loving them back to wholeness. I hope you enjoyed this little journey. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again on the next one. Sending you so much love.